Welcome to John Essex Sports Channel. Welcome to League One Week 9 predictions. Yeah, we're going to get them through nice and early this week. Let's start with Blackpool versus Barnsley and look at the last 6 for Blackpool. Lose, win, lose, draw, lose. Not doing very well, are they? And that side can play really well. And it has played really well. It's been a little bit unlucky sometimes, I must admit. Against the Barnsley side, draw, win, lose, win, win, win. So last 3 wins on the bounce. Rotherham 2-1 at home, win. Huddersfield 3-1 at home, win. And Reading 3-2 at home, win. Now, of course, knocking Rotherham out of the Carabao Cup, that's why it's 3 home games. The last 2 games were at home in the League One. So they have started to do some pretty good football, and some of that recruitment now is starting to tick really, really well. Rather too well for me. The Blackpool side, however, they've got some got some really good players in that team. It still isn't really doing the biz, is it? Barnsley are in 3rd, Blackpool are in 23rd. So I can imagine what you lot are thinking. I can see what some of you are thinking at any rate. Northampton last time out for Blackpool, 1-0 defeat on 82 minutes. In this game, though, Blackpool would have been quite aggrieved. Though they had the ball more, they played it better, they passed better. It was a better performance by Blackpool overall. However, and with 56% possession, they really did 14 shots as well to 9. So they really did look like they'd win this one, but they didn't. And it's been a case of that for a couple of the games. You go to the Bolton 1-1 draw for Blackpool, and if you look at that one, you think the obverse. They really didn't put a very good game together here at home. They didn't control it. Bolton controlled this game, and Bolton would have felt really aggrieved that they, with 19 shots and 73% possession, that they didn't come away with more than a draw. So 1-1 there. Blackpool were on the opposite side of the coin. They actually got more out of the game than what they perhaps should have done, and the Barnsley fans went away a little bit aggrieved. So that's the Bolton story. The Wigan story a little bit different. Last time out they came with a 3-0 win at home to Doncaster. Now, this is a side that has been playing really well and has been doing really well. I'm quite impressed by this side. I think I predicted them to be in the top 6. I still think that they'll be getting up there. I really do. This side seems to be able to score quite easily. And with just 43% of the possession against Doncaster, they got 13 shots, more than Doncaster. And 8 of those were on target and 3 in the net. So they're actually playing some good football, quite clinical. However, and it is a big however for me, that passing really isn't very good. Sometimes they can lose it far too easy for me, and then have to run after the ball to try and get it back again. For me, I'd like to see some more free-flowing football from Wigan. I know they can play it, but we didn't really see it in that game. What are you saying? You're saying 3-1 to Barnsley, 2-1 to Barnsley, 2-1 to Barnsley. Let's go Blackpool 0, Barnsley 3. I actually can't see Blackpool actually scoring, because if you look at their last 4 games, they've scored 1 goal. So it's not looking too good, is it? So we'll go on to Bolton versus Wigan next. And Bolton, we've got 12th against 8th here. So a little bit more evenly matched, I think, this one, because we're expecting Bolton to play some of that really top quality football. Again, they've been a little bit unlucky sometimes, just like we just said. They can really run the game and not get anything from it, or get not as much as what they expected from it. Bolton, draw, win, draw. Last time out was a 1-1 draw away at Leyton Orient. And then you've got Wigan, draw, win, draw, lose, draw, win. We go to Bolton's last game, the game against Leyton Orient. Orient won. Bolton won. 90 plus 4 minutes they waited for this goal. And I think that this is one of those games where Bolton will have been kicking themselves. They should have come away with at least a 2-1 win. In fact, really, technically, it should have been about 2-0. The Bolton side ran this one. They did some excellent football, some superb passing. The quality was good. As a person who doesn't support either of these teams, a neutral, it was really, really good to watch, I thought. But Bolton fans would have been going home thinking, how on earth did we not win that one? So what are you guys thinking? Because I can see a lot of draws in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 draws out of the last 6 for Bolton. 1, 2, 3 draws out of the last 6 for Wigan. And that Doncaster-Wigan game, realistically, Wigan they finally played some good football, finally did some great passing occasionally, but for me, that's the one thing that really let me down. Some good passing, but a lot of it went awry, and it just wasn't quite controlled well enough. I think that this Bolton side is capable of making the most of that, and I think that Bolton will probably win this if they make the most of Wigan's poor passing that they can get into, and they did get into in the last game. So it could be a 1-0 win to Bolton. However, I'm gonna go with all these draws. I think I'm gonna go Bolton 1, Wigan 1, and we'll quickly move on. Now, 7th versus 9th, we go for Lincoln versus Luton. And this is going to be quite interesting. This was Lincoln City. Draw, win, draw, win, draw, win. Ooh, let's see. Luton Town, lose, win, win, lose. These are two different styles of football, and you can tell which ones come down from the Championship. You really can. However, the gameplay of Luton just seems to allow people to get 1 or 2 goals against them. Last time out for Luton, for instance, Plymouth defeat 2-3 at home to Plymouth. Didn't see that one. But then the game before that for Luton, a 4-1 win at home to Barnet in the Cup. However, you've really got to go keep to the league, haven't we? So we'll go 3-0 for the game before that in the league to Burton. So 3-0 away win to Burton. And they're not against attacking this side, so I'm quite happy that they can score. It's just that back end does seem to be able to leave itself open at times. Lincoln City, on the other hand, their last 6 there's no defeat in their last 6. They are really, I think they're flying in that they're showing an ability to never say never. They had that 1 red card each in the Lincoln 2 Wigan 2 game, but even then they did really well. The two it probably was a good draw in the end when you look at that one. But they were both on the front foot, both able to shoot. And neither of those two teams on that particular day had a brilliant defensive structure, but it managed to nullify each other out, didn't they? The Burton game, though, for Lincoln, Burton 0, Lincoln 1 last time out. And of course, with the red cards, you're obviously going to have a little bit of a change of structure, and it really showed for Lincoln. For me, they didn't really tick. They had 35% possession against a pretty poor, what I thought was a poor Burton side, but Burton, good on them. They actually controlled this game with some really good passing. I mean, this was probably one of the best passing performances of that week. They really did pass well, Burton, and Lincoln weren't actually completely out of it for the passing abilities. They were pretty good, just nowhere near Burton's. And yet they won. So Lincoln City won this one. And I would have been thinking, as a Burton fan, how the hell did Lincoln City come away with a win? But that's what's happening with this Lincoln side. It's just running for them. They're getting the run of the green. They're getting the decisions. And I think this Lincoln side will be really ready to rumble with this one, because they could do some really good damage on that. Let's see where they could get to. I mean, they're on 15. Cardiff in first are on 17. So if you just think about it, they're just looking at the other scores if they win and thinking, how far up are we going? And they're playing the Luton side that, in all honesty, has been a little bit ropey sometimes. Last time out against Plymouth, they lost to Plymouth, and Plymouth had 2 red cards, 2 of them, not just 1, 2. 1 on 49 minutes for Edwards and 1 for Cleverley on 72. This was a side I really thought, especially after that second red, that surely they're going to, with 2 extra men, surely they're going to make the most of it. Both Luton's goals here were from penalties. Look, it was Luton's 23 shots, 66% possession, against Plymouth 6 shots and 34% possession. And you're thinking, how did Luton not win this one? And how did they not get a goal from open play with 23 shots at target, at goal, and 7 on target? It just didn't seem to match up. But that's how this team's been doing. They've been doing some really good games where they've really put their mark on the game, like the 3-0 away win to Burton. And I don't think the Cardiff defeat 1-0 was that shabby. But they've just sometimes not come away with a goal, or they seem to be not getting. I don't think they're getting enough from open play for me. They're wanting to be right up there in the top 2. That's not a performance at the minute that I can be saying is a top 2 position. What are you saying? A lot of you going for a draw. 1 or 2 of you going for a Lincoln win. The odd one going for a Luton win. I think that these 2 sides may very well cancel each other out. I'm just a little bit more edgy to. I don't know. I'm wanting to say one side will win over the other, but then I can't tell which one I'm going to go with. So I'm going to have to sit on the fence again, I think, and go Lincoln 1, Luton 1, and we'll quickly move on to the next game. And this is the really good one for the weekend. This is first versus second. It's Cardiff versus Bradford, and Bradford actually they were actually leading League One at one point last week, of course, but then they got pegged back last time out against Stockport County. Stockport County. 34-minute penalty. Cardiff managed to grab that equaliser, didn't they, on the in the 90 plus 7th minute. So go Cardiff here. We'll go Cardiff first. So Cardiff City managed to get that goal and just push themselves up into that first slot when Barnsley were not Barnsley. Bradford were thinking they were up there. Okay, the bees were the wrong way around. I do apologise. Stockport County 1, Cardiff 1. Cardiff surely were thinking they were bloody lucky. Stockport ran this game. They really did. I mean, Cardiff had played the better passing game. They played a better style of football for me. But the Stockport County team did more with it and got up in their faces and got right up into that final third an awful lot more. They played a lot more of a higher. They were at home and they were playing that back. Their whole line was playing really high up the pitch, and it showed. And they really will be kicking themselves with 14 shots at target for Stockport County, three on target and 1 in the net against Cardiff City's 2 on target. Through the entire game and 1 in the net on 90 plus 7. They'll be really feeling aggrieved. Cardiff City, they will be thinking, we got away with one there, didn't we? Let's have a look at the Bradford games. Cardiff have done win, draw. Bradford have done draw, win, 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 lose, win. So they're both really top sides. This is why they're first and second. Last time out, Bradford versus Huddersfield. I actually thought that Bradford's back end, that really excellent, best in the division, I was calling it, defence, had started to wane a little bit. How wrong could I be? This defence out of Bradford's actually managed to do a damn good job again. It seemed to get revitalised this week, or last week. Let's see if it does this week as well. I think that somebody's obviously seen it and said, we've got to get back to what we were playing in defence, which was a damn good game of football. Because they've just lost it for a couple of games, but now, Bradford 3, Huddersfield 1. Really good game of football. Bradford ran this one and Huddersfield hardly got a look in. Okay, they kept the ball very nicely in their own half, Huddersfield, and they passed it around pretty well in their own half. But Bradford weren't far behind as far as passing was concerned. And when they had the ball, they did a hell of a lot more with it, getting into the other final third an awful lot more than what Huddersfield did, which just shows you that the Huddersfield defence here, at least, wasn't that great. But Bradford's was back to its usual top of the class self, wasn't it? So it's going to be an interesting one, because both of these teams are really, really good, I think. Both of these teams are actually flying. I would probably here start saying, let's just look at the Cardiff side as to where they've not really, where they've played their best football. They've played their best football against sides like Plymouth from the Championship, Luton from the Championship. They've not played that well against teams like Wimbledon or Cheltenham. I don't think they really played that well against Cheltenham. I mean, they won 3-0, but I think that they could have played a lot better than that. But perhaps it's the Cup. I think that this team seems to be having trouble against the sides they expect to just wipe off the board. The ones from League Two. And they're playing a League Two side. I think that they may just get caught out here. They may just get... A lot of you going for draws, 1-1s and 2-2s. Or 2-1s and 2-0s to Cardiff. I'm actually going to play a joke here. I'm going to go with Cardiff 1, Bradford 2. I think that this in-your-face, hard tackling football of Bradford will be something that Cardiff can't quite handle. Let's see if I'm true. Let's see if I'm right. And do like and subscribe, by the way. And give me comments down below on what you think. And give me your comments for next week as well. I'd love to hear them because I do use them in the predictions. And we'll go on to the next game, which is Doncaster versus Wimbledon. Because I think that Bradford will just have the edge on that one. So it's 5th versus 11th. Doncaster, Wimbledon. We wouldn't have thought Wimbledon be up there, would they? But they came back to beat Rotherham quite convincingly. Went behind and then never really looked back, did they? 2-1 win last time out for Wimbledon at home to Rotherham. Last time out for Doncaster, a 3-0 win against Wigan. And this, defeat against Wigan. Sorry, I'm looking at red and saying win. Let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail in a sec. Doncaster win, lose, and Wimbledon win, lose, win. Wigan last time out for Doncaster, we would have really thought that Doncaster would do well. However, I've been saying that Wigan can play some good football. They have got some really good signings in there, and I think that they're capable of doing a really good job. Wigan really did deserve to win this one, although Doncaster had some good possession figures. It was mainly because Wigan just didn't quite keep the ball enough for me. They weren't technical enough with that when they had the ball. They lost it for silly reasons sometimes. This Doncaster side didn't really make them pay for it, which I suppose is a benefit to the Wigan fans. What can we say about the game? Yeah, the stats show the stats are actually quite good in this one. Wigan did deserve to win it. Doncaster just didn't seem to turn up. Whereas, for the they won Rotherham 1-0. Could have been a lot more. And then they won Everton under 21s 2-1. Bradford 3-1, Doncaster 3, Bradford 1, and of course that's one of the games where I was thinking the Bradford defence that had been really good. It's one of those games I thought, is this signs that Bradford's defence is just not quite ticking, because they allowed Doncaster in a hell of a lot of times. 15 shots for Doncaster, 5 on target, 3 in the net. They can be very, very clinical this side, but with the Sharp up front, who do you think they're going to be getting? They're going to be getting a few on in the net, aren't they? And they are doing so. We're sort of looking against a side that's can score quite well, but that 3-1 win, they don't always make the most of, let's just say, some stray passes that they really should be grabbing and taking those second balls a little bit more often. Wimbledon last time out, I say it was a 2-1 win against my side, Rotherham. Wimbledon ran it. What can we say? They reduced Rotherham to 2 shots on target and had 10 shots at target themselves, 5 on target, 2 in the net. They deserved the win. Absolutely. They've not been playing great, but I tell you what, they've been getting the odd win, and that's why they're in the position where they are. They've actually been getting 1 or 2 wins, and they've been doing a remarkably good job. So in 11th position, 4 wins, 4 defeats, and this seems, if you remember the first game against Luton, they played 10 at the back on the byline, and it almost worked until they scored an own goal, didn't they, in the last 5 minutes. But then they suddenly showed people they could actually score as well as defend. This is going to be an interesting game, because I know that Wimbledon can score, but we know that Doncaster can score, and Doncaster they're at home, they're going to be wanting to bounce back after that 3-0 defeat away at Wigan, whereas Wimbledon will be playing a tight game, I think, here. Last away game, 3-0 defeat to Bolton. Before that it was a 3-2 defeat away at Bradford. Now that's one of those games where I thought Bradford just let their back end open a little bit more than they usually they have done all the rest of the season, including the last game. So it's going to be hard. I can see that you're all going for 1-0s and 2-0s and 2-1s to Doncaster. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with Doncaster 2, Wimbledon 1. I think that this Wimbledon side can score, and I think they will score. But I think the Doncaster, they'll just have enough here to get past Wimbledon. 6th place versus 22nd place. We're talking Huddersfield versus Burton, and if we actually look at the 5 wins for Huddersfield, 3 defeats, and Burton 1 win, 1 draw, and 4 defeats. It'll be okay, 3 games, wouldn't it? For Huddersfield, win, draw, lose, win, lose. Last time out, that defence really did do an extremely good job against this Huddersfield side. Bradford City, of course. Bradford City 3, Huddersfield 1, I think which way round it was. Burton Albion, draw, lose, win, lose. So it's been a bit of a poor time. That win was actually the Virtue Trophy, 2-0 win away, 2-0 win at home to Liverpool under 21s, and I think that the last 2 games here are quite critical for us to look at. Huddersfield losing 3-1 at Bradford, and Huddersfield had some really good passing in their own half. They didn't really. I didn't really have a chance to grab anything, any stray balls or anything from Bradford. Their passing was pretty good through the game as well. Just not as good as Huddersfield's. the defences were both defences here were quite different. You had a really solid defence of Bradford, and the Huddersfield one just seemed to be a little bit weak and letting people in, letting those balls in a little bit too often, not clearing it quite as quickly as what I was expecting them to do. 3 shots on target for Huddersfield, 4 for Bradford, but 14 shots for Bradford in total and only 8 for Huddersfield, even though they have more of the possession figure. They're not doing enough with the ball when they've got it, and is the thing, and that defence can be quite poor, quite shocking. Burton Albion, what am I saying? My side's even worse. Burton Albion draw, lose, win, lose. Last time out, Lincoln City defeat Burton 0, Lincoln 1, and Burton really. This was a pretty even game, to be quite honest. Burton had a huge amount of passing. Yeah, they had 519 passes to 288. Burton really did control this game, and they controlled it well. They deserve to. They probably will be getting moaning that they didn't get enough of those 16 shots on target, just 2, and that's at the end of the day. That's why they lost it. They passed well, they got it forward well, they got into the final third well. The shots were just awry and didn't go on target or got blocked, which to me was one of the main issues in that game, losing 1-0. What are you lot saying? You're saying this is going to be a walkover for Huddersfield. You're talking 2-0s, 3-0s, 2-1s. I'm gonna think that with that last score from Burton, I'm gonna go for Huddersfield 3, Burton 0, and we'll go to another one. Probably say one-sided game. What do you think? Do like and subscribe. Tell me down below, because we're going to Plymouth versus Peterborough next. So 17th versus 24th. So we're talking, almost talking the bottom third. 2 teams here. Plymouth not at all firing as we expected them to do. Win, draw, lose, win, win, win. The draw was against Swansea City in the Carabao Cup. One of the wins was against in the Virtue Trophy, wasn't it, against Cheltenham Town 2-0. Last time out, a win against Luton Town 3-2 away from home for Plymouth. The Peterborough side, though, have they started to play some good football? Let's just go to those last 2 games because although they're down where they are, lose, draw, lose, win. Last time out, it was a 2-1 win at home to Wickham. They can't be at home to themselves, and that actually was, I think, comes on the back of a 3-2 defeat to Huddersfield. And let's just think. We all thought that was going to be one-sided, and it wasn't. So let's just first of all just quickly go to Plymouth and go to that 3-2 win for Plymouth against Luton Town. They won with 2 red cards, one on 49, one on 72. So they are going to be a little bit depleted here, which. It's going to be Joe Edwards and Tom Cleverley out, which is going to be a bit of a push. But they have got quite a lot of depth in that squad. And this side, the defence was pretty shocking, I thought, for Plymouth. I mean, they allowed Luton Town to have 23 shots at target, 7 of them on target, 2 in the net. You know, they would have been gutted, Luton Town, that they came away with a defeat, especially when Plymouth had 2 red cards. But you have to say that the Plymouth side defended really doggedly when it was called upon them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. They would have collapsed even more with 2 red cards, wouldn't they? So I think they did. There was a good game plan in play at the point where they certainly at the point where they got that first red card, and I liked the game plan and I liked how they put it out onto the pitch. They did well. They did a lot better than I thought they would do. Then we go to Peterborough. And let's just go one game back to Huddersfield, the 3-2 win for Huddersfield. Huddersfield 3, Peterborough 2. 90 plus 8 minutes for Peterborough. That second goal. Look, they never looked like getting an equaliser because it was 90 plus 8, that second goal. But I tell you what, they weren't too far behind this Huddersfield side, and their defence was actually not too bad. It certainly wasn't depicting a side in the position where Peterborough are. This actually was a refreshing change for me for Peterborough. They actually played some decent football, and that's what I want to come to you from that angle, because Huddersfield, although it was a defeat, 3-2 against a good Huddersfield side. Okay, that defence from Huddersfield can be a bit rocky. Was a bit rocky here. However, they made them pay for it, and that's what I want to get. Well, that's what I want to get out of that game. Peterborough made Huddersfield pay for the mistakes in that back line. They then went up against Wycombe. Peterborough 2, Wycombe 1. And they were actually 2-0 up at one point, and I'm thinking, going into half-time, 2-0 up, have they turned it round? And actually, if they have really, they really did play a good game of football. Look, perhaps 2-2 would have been a reasonable scoreline here. 17 shots at target for Peterborough, 12 at target for Wycombe. They didn't stop Wycombe from getting into that final third, but they certainly nullified the threat very, very well. And it was only a Fred Onanimna, I can't say that name, on 49 goal that gave them a 2-1 win, allowing Wycombe to get one goal. I think that this showed a very doggedly determined side, and although they are away at Plymouth, we know Plymouth are really, really good at home. We know that. The last game at home for Plymouth, 4-2 win at home to Stockport. Before that, it was a 2-0 to Cheltenham Town. And before that, a win 1-0 at home to Blackpool. So they're very, very good at home. Will Peterborough be able to put these to bed? You're all saying 2-1, 3-1 and 3-0 to Plymouth. But I think that this Peterborough side may just be able to scupper the party here. I'm going to think it's going to be 2-1, but I don't know which way round it's going to go. I really don't know which way round. I think, in fact, I've already scribbled it out once. I've scribbled it out. I'm not going to scribble it out again. I have had it both ways, so both fans, I really don't know which way round. I'm just going to go flip a coin. Plymouth 1, Peterborough 2. Oh, hell, what have I said? Do like and subscribe, even though some of the reasoning behind that might go out the window. I will go to Port Vale versus Mansfield, and our friend Roy, do listen in, because this is going to be quite an interesting game, I think. We've got Mansfield in 13th, Port Vale at home in 20th. Port Vale just seemed to have started to get it together just a little bit. Very worried that this side was playing excellent football in sort of 45 minutes of the game. They did in the opening game against Rotherham. Should have got an equaliser in that second half. They played stonking football in the second half. God awful in the first half. But they've been doing that throughout the last few games. Win against Birmingham in the Carabao Cup. lose, win. 4-1 home win against Leeds United under-21s, and that is actually a good under-21s side. Only to come back and lose at home to Leyton Orient 3-2. Port Vale, like I say, they've been up and down, but then they had a good Exeter win. Exeter 0, Port Vale 2 on 4 minutes and 45 minutes. And actually, although they had very little of the ball, Port Vale, they managed to eventually tackle the ball off Exeter and get it clear enough to... It was basically just clear the lines and put a bus in the back. But the bus did work, and they caught them on the break. Exeter, 4 shots on target, none in the net. Port Vale 2 shots on target, 2 in the net. At the end of the day, guys, it's what gets in the back of the net. I think that they've been a little bit unlucky sometimes. In fact, quite often Port Vale have been really, really unlucky. Very much aggrieved their fans about not getting a draw or not getting a win out of some of those games when they should have done. And in this one, they would have been thinking, we got to win. We should have really lost this one. So it has started, has it, to go both ways. Yeah, and it should do over the full season. Mansfield Town, however, win, lose, draw, lose, lose, draw. Lost the way a bit. There have been a couple of really dull games, and this is all from Roy, so I'm regurgitating what Roy says. Some of them have been pretty poor. Some of them have been pretty good. The Stevenage game, Mansfield won, Stevenage won, and Stevenage scored on 70 minutes, and Mansfield's Gardner scored on 73. And when that goal went in for Mansfield, I actually thought that they might go on to win it, but everything was so darned even in this game. It was probably the right result. Both defences were, for me, really, really solid indeed. It was almost like both these teams just didn't want to lose. And when Stevenage went ahead, it was like, oh, hang on a minute. All of a sudden, Mansfield came to life, got that goal, and I just thought that they had a little bit more extra bite for that last 20 minutes, but they just couldn't get it into the net. So they needed that goal. They needed to go 1-0 down for me to be able to get them to trigger to play well, which is a bit unfortunate because I think they could, if they'd have played like they did in the last bit all the way through that game, they would have walked that game, but they didn't. It was a Stevenage draw with Mansfield there. This is going to be a lot more harder than you think because Vale seem to be, for me, just about riding their luck a bit. They are scoring goals. They are getting one into the net occasionally. But Mansfield, they played a couple of really difficult games against teams that we know that are their bogey side, as I keep being told. So will they do well against Vale? I'm going to go with Vale 1, Mansfield 2. And again, this one could quite easily be a draw. I think maybe a draw, but I'm going to go with Mansfield win. Let's not sit on the fence. We don't like sitting on the fence too often, do we? After the Port Vale game, it's Leyton Orient versus Reading. Leyton Orient are in 14th. Reading are in 21st. And realistically, these Reading are a far better side than this. They've done some good recruiting. They've got new ownership, and you feel for them, because they shouldn't be down there. They really shouldn't. And Leyton Orient shouldn't be down there either. They actually they lost a few players, but they got some in, and I actually thought they were going to be quite decent this season. And for that reason, I think it's going to be quite a tough game. Reading, draw, win, lose, lose. Against Leyton Orient, win, lose, win, lose. Win, draw, last time out, draw against Bolton 1-1. And Reading's last game was 3-2 defeat away at Barnsley. High points of Leyton Orient's last 6, a 1-0 away win to Plymouth. Low points, probably a 4-1 away defeat to Mansfield, actually. Although I don't think it was really 4-1, and they were really scuppered by the referee a couple of times on that one, I'm afraid. So Leyton Orient not quite getting the run of the green from the referee's point of view on that one. For Reading, there's no real ups and downs. They got that Swindon 3-2 away defeat in the Virtue Trophy, but it's the Virtue Trophy. Realistically, they're wanting to just make sure they're safe in the league and possibly try and push up into that top half, or top 6 even, or top 7. Reading, losing away at Barnsley. What can we say? They kept coming back, didn't they? Behind, draw, behind, lose. This was a Reading side that just never gave up. It was actually quite an even game, really, really even game. I think it was the passing of Barnsley for me that really did that really took the win. But Reading's passing wasn't that bad. In fact, I think it was rather unfortunate that they didn't get a point out of this game. But two very, very capable sides in that game, and it was a really good one to watch. Really good game of football. And I don't think the defences were particularly bad. I mean, you'd expect it to be, to let 3 goals in, and you'd think Reading played a sort of middle stroke attacking football, and perhaps could have tightened up that defence a bit more. But they were both about even. 15 shots at target for Barnsley, 14 for Reading. I don't think there was too much in this one. Yes, I think that the defences were slightly negated at the expense. Well, the expense of the defence. They tried to push forward a little bit more, but it was both teams doing it. So a 3-2 defeat. Well, probably shouldn't have been that. It could have been a draw, I think, at the end of the day. Leyton Orient 1, Bolton 1, and of course we're looking at the Leyton Orient side here. They'll have been a bit annoyed that they let a goal in that Bolton scored in 90 plus 4 minutes. But on the other hand, they'll have been thinking it was quite a dull game for me. Not many shots on target. The ones that did go on target were mainly from Bolton. Bolton kept the ball quite often. Leyton Orient losing it several points actually, and Bolton not really making the most of it. For me, Bolton should have capitalised on some of those bad passes, but they didn't make them pay for it at all. Not even by getting into the final third. So that game was a 1-1 draw. I think that Leyton Orient will have been a little bit, going, crikey, thank God for that. And the 2 games before, it's been a win against Peterborough. Look where they are. But they are improving, of course, but not at that point. And Port Vale, who can be up and down, 3-2 away win to them, and they play good for part of the game. So Leyton Orient, to me, probably the side I would be thinking would be least expected to win this one. I think Reading, certainly after 2 defeats, are going to be thinking we need to make sure we don't get into that doldrum. That bit where teams seem to get into, where they lose 6 in a row. They won't be wanting to get into that. There's a lot of you saying 1-0s, 2-0s, 2-1s. There are people who think that Orient will actually sneak a 1-0 win here. I think that Reading will just have it, and I'm going to go with the home team, and we'll go Reading 1, Leyton Orient 0. Nearly changed it at the last minute. And then we'll go to my side at home. Now, they've not lost at home. It's Rotherham versus Stockport County, and realistically, we've got Stockport in 10th, Rotherham in 18th, just 2 points off the relegation zone. Lots of injuries and not playing that well. Rotherham United draw, lose, win, lose. The last time out was a 2-1 defeat away at Wimbledon, going ahead through Huggill's first goal in God knows how long, and then just capitulating, as they always do, away from home and losing 2-1. Stockport County, win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. Oh, we're going for a win, are we then? So Stockport County, now we have to look at some of these games because they could just, I don't know which side is going to turn up. I really don't. Burton 2-1 win, Wigan 1-0 defeat, crikey in the cup, Wigan 1-1 draw in the league, just 4 days later. Oh God, a Virtue Trophy 5-3 home win to against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then get this. So they do a really good job against Wolverhampton Wanderers under 21s, and then they come out against Plymouth and they lose 4-2 away from home. And then the last game was a 1-1 draw at home to Cardiff. Now, 90+7 Cardiff. They really did leave it late to get a point here. And Stockport County will have been really gutted. They were absolutely on top here. Okay, Cardiff were passing it better, but I tell you what, overall, in that game, I would have probably said, if you'd given me a snippet of 5 minutes, I'd say, oh yeah, Stockport are going to win this one. Draw 1-1. And I just think that they're going to be thinking, we should have done that. We're going to have to make sure we win some of these games that we quite capable of doing. They're quite capable of winning here. What were people saying? 1-1, 0-0, 2-0 to Stockport, 2-0 to Stockport, 2-1 to Stockport. I'm gonna go with one of you. I'm gonna go Rotherham 0, Stockport 2, and sorry Rotherham fans, I just can't see this side getting together yet. We need some of the injuries back, I fear. It's Stevenage versus Exeter next, and we've got Stevenage in 4th versus Exeter in 16th. Exeter have been playing some good football. They have actually been playing some really good football. Stevenage, win, lose, win, draw. A draw against Mansfield last time out for Stevenage. Let's look at that one, because this is the one where they both scored on 70 and 73 minutes, and neither of them really wanted to lose this one. And it was probably certainly from an attacking point of view was quite boring. From a defending point of view, it was quite exciting. The defences were both really good. So that's what I want to take from that one. Exeter, on the other hand, lose, win, lose, and the last 2 games they lost against Rotherham United away from home. But Rotherham haven't lost at home yet. They did come back. In fact, they had 61% possession at Rotherham, Exeter City. They just couldn't get it into the final third, which is really strange because our defence has been, a lot of it's been injured and still is injured. We get a last-minute loan in, and he scores a winner, and scored that winner. I think, he scored that winner, and then he became injured. So so it's typical of the Rotherham side. And then they played Port Vale, Exeter 0, Port Vale 2. Port Vale played well in both halves here, which was quite shocking. They just happened to play Exeter played Port Vale at the wrong time. Exeter, 70% possession, 11 shots, 4 on target, none in the net. They'll be disappointed they didn't get at least 1 in the net. Port Vale, 30% possession, 5 shots, 2 on target, 2 in the net. It was a good middle League One game of football, I thought. And did they deserve more out of it? They probably didn't deserve a 2-0 defeat. I think that a 2-1 or a 2-2 would have been more appropriate in that one. And it's going to prove a hard game for me to really. I think Stevenage have to be the favourites. What are you saying? 1-0s and 2-1s. I can see you being right. I can't. I mean, they won 3-0 Exeter again at home to Peterborough. That was at home. 2-0 away defeat to Northampton. I just can't. I mean, that 5-1 win for Stevenage 2 games ago against Wimbledon, and you have to think that this Stevenage side must be more capable than that. I'm going to play a joker. I'm going to go Stevenage 4, Exeter 0, and we'll go on quickly to our last game, which is Wycombe Wanderers versus Northampton Town. We've got Wycombe in 19th, Northampton in 15th, and I tell you what. Northampton have won 3 games. Wycombe have won 1. It's completely the opposite way around to what we would have expected, isn't it? Wycombe draw, lose, win, lose. The only win they've got there is against Mansfield 2 games ago, 2-0. And Mansfield have been playing some pretty dull football, I'm afraid. This game only had 5 shots on target in the entire game. And to me was probably the most dull game. I mean, did they deserve to win, Wycombe, is the question. No, I don't think they did. I think it deserved to be 0-0. Peterborough United last time out, 2-1 defeat to Peterborough. And Peterborough, look, they've played Peterborough when they started to play a little bit better football, okay. But this Wycombe side can play better than this. 55% possession at Peterborough. 12 shots, 6 on target, 1 in the net, but they allowed Peterborough to get 17 shots out of that 45% possession. And this isn't a defence I'm used to from Wycombe. It's just not. I'm not used to it. Yes, they've lost players. I admit that. And yes, last season a lot of them were a lot of the good players were loan players, but they're playing a Northampton side that they're playing out of their skin. The last 3 games, I mean, lose, win. Exeter 2-0 win, Orient 1-0 win. Last time out, Blackpool 1-0 win. 82nd minute for McGeehan. And I tell you what, this Northampton side played well when they got the ball. Should they have won it? Absolutely not. This Blackpool side were slightly better all the way through the game for me. However, when Northampton were playing well, when they finished well and they took their chance. 4 shots on target, 1 in the net for Northampton, 3 for Blackpool, none in the net. And Blackpool really have to be more clinical. 14 shots for Blackpool, only 3 on target. They've really got to get more shots at the net rather than just hitting them sky high. Northampton Town, though, I think will be looking forward to this game, and I think that. I think that they can do this one. Wycombe have been both lucky in the Mansfield game to win it, and they've been unlucky to lose the Peterborough game because they played them at the wrong time. I think that this is going to be a very tough game, but we'll finish with Wycombe 1, Northampton 2. Please do like and subscribe. Please do keep me on air, and I will be most grateful if you watch or at least drop in for my live stream on a Saturday. We will be doing one at 3 o'clock still, and I'll see you there for the watch along. Until then, it's do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on Saturday.